Thank you for staying with us this far. In case, once again, you are just joining us, karibu tena sana. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Jain Wambui. Remember, you can always be part of these conversations that we get to have here on Good Morning Kenya. Talk to us using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle, both on Twitter and Facebook, ever remains to be at KBC Channel 1. My individual handle is at Jain Wambui across all the social media platforms. We welcome you to share with us your thoughts, and you can also let us know where you are watching us from this morning. So right now we move on to this next conversation, and this is about the media fraternity, the journalists who are, or other students who are aspiring to become journalists, just understanding where we are when it comes to the curriculum that is being offered, understanding the market needs, as well as embracing the emerging trends in the media space. And to help us with this conversation this morning, we have with us David Omwoyo, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Media Council of Kenya. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen.
Thank you for making time to be with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
All right. Now, let's just start with the basics and start with understanding the mandate and the functions of the Media Council of Kenya.
The Media Council of Kenya, of course, is a public body set up by the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and the Media Council Act of 2013. With the role of promoting professional journalism. Ideally, in the mission, we say we set media standards and then we ensure compliance. So we promote professionalism and responsible journalism. We broadly protect the rights of journalists to do their work, their safety. We accredit them based on training and standards that we have set. But we also ensure that we protect the public to make sure that only accredited journalists do the practice of journalism, following the Code of Ethics for practice of journalism, fairness, accuracy, and all that. So we are dual. Number one, we want to promote professionalism, making sure that journalists do their work better. And number two, we also ensure that they are responsible.
Yes.
So that, because from time to time we think that the media also needs to operate within certain standards.
Yes.
So we accredit them, we protect them, we ensure their training standards are done, and we ensure that we protect Kenyans from, let's say, unfair practice of the media. Yes.
Exploitation.
Yes.
Now, looking at our country, and especially journalism is still a fairly, for lack of a better word, new career for so many professionals in this space. But looking at the uptake in the recent years, from what you have seen when it comes to the accreditation and also just ensuring that quality and standard is adhered to, what has been the trajectory when it comes to the uptake of journalism courses across the country?
Before we mention journalism, because it's good to mention the media field.
Yes.
From 10 years ago, we had about 9 TV stations and about 33 radio stations. Now we are at above 90 TV stations and more than 300 radio stations. I say so because the radio station will be about 200, but a few times there are a few community ones that are on for a while and off and all that. So you're looking at more than 10-fold increment in 10 years.
In this group?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, from 9 to 90, from 30 to more than 300 is really an exponential growth.
Yeah.
And now we imagine we have the rise of bloggers, online news agencies, guys who just operate and publish on the internet without printing papers and all that. We have a very broad, and almost all universities now are offering journalism and media courses. So it's really a field that has grown rather fast. Also, it's about the fruits of devolution, the new constitution, the opening up of the airwaves and all that is really, we have seen what people call exponential growth, training and all that. We think a few times that there could be a little bit of market dynamics and all that, but we have what I would call almost enough media houses. Just that the little challenge you have is that it isn't very well distributed. There are regions, there are communities in this country that do not have even one radio stations or TV in their language, and we have another community or two which has more than 10 in their language and all that. So there's that lack of balance, but of course it's market dynamics and all that.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's take a step back and understand, you know, the fact that in just 10 years we have seen such growth clearly shows there's so much potential in this area, and it needs some sort of guidance when it comes to steering it in the right direction. And I want us to start with the institutions that offer some of these courses. Now, looking at the first at the accreditation of these universities to be able to offer this particular course in their institution, are there requirements that they're supposed to fulfill that as the Media Council you require them to?
Yes, but I will...
Of course, working with the Ministry of Education.
Yeah, Q, Commission for University Education, yes, or the KICD and all that. The Media Council develops the curriculum for diploma level media training, electronic, print, online and photography.
Okay.
That is what we do. So the basic requirements would be what is set out by AQ, the Commission for University Education, training facilities, the training, that is the professors, the lecturers and all that, and at least a minimum number of students. And if you're teaching radio or TV production, having the relevant studios and equipment. So they are basically what I would call universal, the human capital to train and the technical equipment to train, and then the curricula to follow thereof. So we have universities offering degrees, and we have and diplomas, and we have colleges doing that. Of course, we started with the tradition of the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, and then we have several other colleges doing that. Universities, we have the School of Journalism, University of Nairobi. Now we have several across the country. So we have those at very broad level. What I said, what we'll have as the minimum requirements to offer the course. Okay. But we get to a level where there is something called liberalization, which made the media expand and all that, whereby the market now drives the quality of your courses. Will be seen about how the employers impress graduates from a particular college and all that, because any school, any university can offer a degree. Yeah. You have enough visiting professors and you have a studio and all that, but the quality of that will be seen in the products, the graduates you give to job market is what will determine. So it's usually market determined, because the minimum requirements are not very difficult to meet, getting enough people and all that. We have a challenge though, that in some places, especially university level, journalism is either thrown in the languages department, and they are taught by linguists, and there is no industry player and all that. It's a crisis actually across
and a broader school.
Yes, the crisis we have is that we have at university level, universities giving away a journalism degree, and the students were never taught once by an industry specialist. There was no journalism lecturer. They were taught by a linguist and a PR person and all that. We have people giving degrees in radio production, and they do not even have a radio studio. So you coming out to your degree or diploma in specialist electronic media radio production or TV production, and you go to the university, there is neither a TV studio, not a radio studio, not even a camera and all that. So really we have those challenges of that quality control. And that's why I said that because of the nature of accreditation, where the Media Council advises the Commission for University Education, we don't, apart from colleges, we inspect and recommend their diplomas, the degree level we only advise. We realize that several universities, unfortunately, are giving Kenyans a raw deal.
And that is why we are seeing employers, and not just in the media space, we are seeing so many employers complaining that there's a disconnect between what the graduates are taught in school and the actual labor market. Now, this brings me to this curriculum modular that has been proposed, and I believe is in the pilot phase by the Media Council of Kenya. Yes. What exactly informed the background towards proposing this particular modular, and could tell us a bit about this modular in itself?
Yes, I said earlier that we have the diploma in journalism, electronic media, print media and all that, which is a series of modules, units, practicum and all that. But then we realized that we have people interested in specific modules. You could have done say your degree in law or degree in education, yes, and you want to venture into media. We have a course we call Journalism 101, 6-week intensive course that takes you through what is journalism,
crash program
and all that. So it is that one alone, you already are qualified in your field, but you take that alone, then you understand. That will include the code of ethics for the conduct of and practice of media, the laws of the media regulation, how the 5 W's and H of journalism and all that. You realize that we do not then want to know that to go where you have your degree, but to do journalism you spend a whole year with a lot of time on foundational courses and all that. Remember, in the context of university, we have several core courses that are shared and all that.
Yes.
Then we have the specialists. So we narrow that down. Then you may want to say people reporting. We have one curriculum about, say, climate change reporting. You already did your diploma in journalism or your degree. But now climate change is a new phenomenon and all that. So then we give you training on that. Then you could get, we're working with another partner on health reporting. And, so you take a course in that. So the whole idea is that it's a course that you can take in itself. It completes you, but it can be part of a series. So we are working on multiple agreements with the universities and all that. You could say that if you take 9 modules over a period of time, you qualify for an executive certificate or diploma recognized by the Senate of a university or 2 and all that, so that you don't have to traditionally go through the 2-3 year course. The requirement is you already have met the minimum requirements. You are in education. For example, you want to get into media and you are interested in reporting law. We give you basics about law, how to report from the courts and all that, a short course. So the whole idea of the modular is that it's a buffet. You can pick something that you like and it completes you. We are also working on something about reporting legislative processes. We're working jointly with the National Assembly. That's the National Assembly and the county assemblies and all that. You go through the laws, how people report in parliament, how debates are done, motions and all that. It's intensive, and the people giving you that are, of course, a few lecturers, practical people, MPs, the speakers and all that. So you come out and you already have a grasp. So the whole idea of the modular is break down the different units in the diploma or degree to standalone things that you can pick and take, and you are complete in yourself.
Now, in terms of ensuring quality when it comes to the practice in journalism, how is this going to be ensured? Because just going back to my time in campus, there were those university common courses that we all had to do, and then when you get to towards the end of your second year, third year, that's when you get to specialize, and these were part of what you actually get to meet when you go outside in the labor market. Looking at this particular modular that is being proposed by the Media Council, you get to pick and choose what you feel you need as a profession. Won't it compromise quality in one way or the other, given you didn't get some of the basics that cut across the job market?
Sorry, you need to understand the beginning of this modular courses.
Yes.
We are not replacing basic training.
Okay.
We are not taking from 4 graduates and putting them into this. Yes, so we are already taking, you are a lawyer, you are a teacher, and you know, we are talking about now largely the Faculty of Arts and the Social Sciences. You have done the combat courses generally, isn't it? And you have your degree in law, but you want to venture, like many of us, you know that in the media, some of the best editors we have, we are now currently celebrating Hilary Ngweno, who was an engineer in something. The other very senior editors around town did not do journalism basically, but they have a degree in something. So the foundational courses are already largely universal. If you are in the social sciences, for example, you have studied matters of governance, certain anthropological peace courses and all that, isn't it? So when now you have your degree in law and you want to venture into journalism, we are not sending you back for another 3 years. We think that you have the philosophical foundation. You understand conflict, the issues about governance and all that. So now you're able to take that course. That way, when you come onto air at once, you understand, because we already have very many people who have not trained in journalism,
but they're
who are occupying very critical spaces in the media. So this course now immediately helps them.
So this particular module, if I'm getting you right, is for those that have already been practicing but would wish to adapt to the emerging trends. Now, for those that have already been practicing in the media space, as you say, occupy some very important spaces, will they be required to take this modular part of these modules in order to continue practicing and working the space that they are, or moving forward, those that are practicing, and if they would need?
You may want to know that beginning last year, the Media Council has been only accrediting journalists. But we began now accrediting all media workers. Anybody in the content delivery department needs accreditation. That means you are either a talk show host, you are a DJ, you are say an interviewee or an interview and all that, because you occupy a space where content is delivered.
Yes.
So you already are a doctor and you host a health program. We think that you will benefit a lot if we tell you the basics of journalism, the ethics, what you can or may not do in media and all that. So those occupying space now, because we are accrediting. If you did not, there are two ways of accrediting journalists and media workers, either by academic qualification or by continuous practice. If you have graduated from our well-known colleges and universities, you are automatically accredited. But if you did a course that is not media related, then you have to take the journalism 101, as I call it, so that you get to know the laws of the media, the ethics, how to do a few things. So it's now a requirement that every media worker gets accredited. Yes, because then you find that sometimes we were accrediting only the journalists, like the people who read news.
Yeah.
Yet we have an entire crew, participating in content delivery. Yes, so it's broad now, and it's a requirement. It's a short course. We actually do that in-house.
Yeah.
We just recently finished that training for the Switch TV, the Science TV. The people with special abilities and all that, and they were the first graduates, because then they had their own qualifications. They understand the work, but then we took them through theirs was 12 weeks, because there was a lot of practical work and all that, and then they immediately qualify now for accreditation. So it's really, you must already be in the space, or you must already meet, and minimum qualifications for modular courses in our case is not the Form 4 certificate. You already have fitted in and did a bit of background.
Okay.
Yes. Now,
Now, we're also living in a time where emerging trends is a reality for so many people.
Yes.
Social media has become a stream in itself.
Yes.
We have people who are using social media as a full-time career, and they still falls into the media space. Looking at this space and also just accepting and looking at ways to sort of regulate and also accredit those who are using this platform, has that been factored in looking at emerging trends?
Yes, for information, I think last year, we have accredited media house, online media houses. I will mention of a few. There's Kenyans.co.ke, Tuko, and a few others, because there are people now who do not have channels, they do not have a TV or radio, they do their work online.
Yes.
We have accredited them as media house, so we accredit their journalists and we accredit them as media houses, because internet itself is a mode of delivery. There you have a newspaper as a platform, you have TV as a platform, the internet is a platform, and there are people who choose that I will do my work and I will publish on the internet. So we accredit them. We have what we call the UGC, the user generated content. There are people who want to go on Twitter and break news and all that. We can't do much about them because they are not media houses and they're not professional journalists. Otherwise, if you are a professional journalist and you have a platform, we accredit your employees and that platform as a media house. And I think we have seen one has about 33 people, one of those online. So it's really emerging. And surprisingly, there are two broad advantages of that.
Yes.
You are accredited media house, therefore now you qualify for advertising. We have worked with the government advertising agency. Now government can advertise in online media outlets because you are an accredited media house. So the way you put an advert in the newspaper, you can also put an advert on an internet or an online page. Yes, so that's one. And then the journalists enjoy the full privileges. They have full accreditation and all that.
All right.
Because you also have to agree that, well, those run that way. Even the mainstream media houses, like KBC here, for example, you also have an online team. We have people who don't come here, but they publish what we're doing online. So, and if a media house chooses to do the online work alone, we recognize that as a full media house. What we do not recognize are the ad hoc bloggers and, people who own blogs or tweets. And you may have 2 million followers, but until you follow the process of recognition, we assume you are a telecommunications equipment user.
All right.
Yes.
Now we'll just have to pause at that particular point, because I believe that is a whole area that triggers quite the conversation in many of people. But do stay with us. We are having a conversation about the media space and just looking at how we are adapting to some of these emerging trends and helping you be able to practice journalism regardless of the restrictions that they may be. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are glad you are still keeping us company. We just want to pick up from where we left off in regards to this conversation all about the media space and just looking at some of the emerging trends when it comes to modulars and curriculums that can be able to enable you practice in this media space. Now with us in studio we still have David Omwoyo, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Media Council of Kenya. Now before the break we were just on that particular point about blogging, and this is a space that so many young people have embraced, and for some it has been because once they left school, job wasn't available. They didn't have interning opportunities to go to certain media houses or production houses to be able to be part of that. Now, looking at this gap that is there when it comes to the transition from school to the labor market, and that is internship, how are we faring?
We are not faring very well. So like as we had an exponential increase of media outlets, we also had a lot of interest in people wanting to join journalism. So we had colleges and universities offering the courses. The quality is at another level. So we have numbers coming in. We have seen a few changes because of the rise in the technology and other convergence matters. We have now a person being able to do several things, so the media market is not able to absorb all of them. And so the challenge we've had is that what we saw from data is our young people unable to graduate before I go to internship. You've done the coursework, you need industrial placement so that you can go back and graduate, and you get stuck. It's a crisis. It's really a crisis. You get sometimes up to, and we are not very big, you get sometimes up to 10 to 15 applications a week of people wanting to get industrial placement. Yes. Of course, there is the other level of internship, which is you have graduated, you need to really, get into a little academy to do that. So through we have the MCK Academy, MCK Africa Academy. It's a virtual academy because we do the modular courses, partnerships with universities and media houses. What we are doing is we realize that we need to respond to one challenge now: facilitate our journalism and media trainees to graduate by facilitating their access to industrial attachment. That means that now we are working with multiple media houses, yourselves included, so that we get the people. The recruitment process is the same. They still come to you and all that, but so that we facilitate you to do, because also the corona pandemic and all that, the media houses are not able to take to absorb the attachees. And when they do, in a few cases, you can't facilitate the transport. And maybe you have a media house down in Tana River, but you can't send a journalist there because they need some living allowance and all that. So what we have, the MCK Industry Attachment Program, I have to note this, that it's fully funded by government through the ministry, is we facilitate young graduates or journalism students who need the attachment module to be able to graduate. So they apply here, they apply to the Nation Media, the Standard, and as many media houses as possible. A joint selection we do, then we attach them for 90 days at the specific media house. That way then they get the training opportunity and all that. Of course there's the normal supervision, you supervise them and all that. So we have 100 per quarter, so 100 people 3 months want to talk, another 100 3 months want to talk and all that. So MCK will work jointly with the media houses in the recruitment of those such people. You apply, the interviews are done. If KBC can take 20, you take 20. Who can take 2, they do and all that. And then MCK will pay the interns or the attachees a living stipend of 15,000 shillings per month. That is for their transport. Now, survive, maybe you are training in Nairobi and you're going to Nakuru for attachment. You need some money for food or for your transport and all that. And you need maybe sometimes 1,000 shillings for the insurance and all that. So we are going to see up to 400 per year. We hope to expand that more. So, and the whole idea is that this is national. It's not just in the big media houses. And then we are not recruiting and imposing them on a media house. We jointly come and see, you say KBC can take these people, Mombasa watano, Nairobi kumi and all that. We sit jointly, they go through the process, they come in, and for 3 months we take care of them. That way we facilitate Mamaliza will graduate and all that. We are hoping, and we've made the request before the CSICT, that we introduce an internship program. You have now graduated, you need now a placement. That will be 6 months, and then you are attached to a department in a media house for 6 months. So we hope to also be able to do that.
Okay.
Number one, be able to expand, take more numbers on industrial attachment, because we have a bit of backlog. Media houses, because of corona and all that, did not take. So we have a bit of people stuck around graduation. We want to clear so that now the cycle flows, and then after you have graduated, because by putting them exposure to a media house, 6 months here, you could take a few months across the different departments. People will, the media house will like the talent and absorb them. Others will realize, I was not supposed to be cameraman, I was supposed to be producer. They will understand and all that. So we hope to start. But for the industrial attachment, we are rolling it out. Beginning is next month. We will put how process of application and how people to apply and all that, different media houses this week, so that people can start getting in. It's a pretty straightforward matter.
And maybe what are some of those qualifications that trainees who are hoping to be part of this need to fulfill?
Simple matters. Wewe ni mwanafunzi in a university learning journalism, you are due for attachment. You apply. So
as it has always been.
Yes, that's simple. That's all you do. Then we agree we are going to sponsor. So maybe, I know KBC, you take more people, maybe 80, but Media Council will sponsor 20. The standard will take a few and all that. It's a simple. We are not trying to introduce layers and layers of bureaucracy. We just are facilitating. You are a student. You are either in a university, you are in a college, accredited college, because then we have a few colleges that sit on top of. We have a few. We've gone to a place where during the day sometimes it's a driving school.
At night it's a whole institution.
Yes. So if you are a student in an accredited college, the process is the same. You are a letter of attachment from the school. You get a media house. We already have an agreement. We know that at this media house we'll be taking this number of people for the 3 months. You come in through this, and we facilitate. You get your monthly stipend. You come. There will be a little supervision jointly, because the media house will get someone to supervise and train you and the workflow. So we are not introducing layers of bureaucracy, and we will be announcing with specific media houses how that happens. So a media house advertises under the MCK Industrial Attachment Program. You come in. You are recruited, we get the names, you're put on our list, and you go on, and we supervise, you become part of an alumni network and all that. Okay. No extra layers, no extra papers needed apart from the normal industrial attachment papers that any student will need.
Now, what of the accreditation process for these young trainees that are coming out of school into the labor market?
Normally, we accredit journalism students studying in universities and colleges recognized by MCK. Okay. So you get their student accreditation card. It's 300 shillings. I think we have not increased that. So you already have a trainee accreditation by MCK. So the process remains. Yes, and as you come in here, you already get we assume you are taking journalism in a recognized institution, so you are an accredited journalist. Ukimaliza, when you graduate, your student pass expires, you get a full journalist card.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, remember, this conversation involves you and I, and we welcome you to share with us your thoughts. And there's Josie on Twitter who is asking, how do you know if an institution is accredited or not? Because this goes back to the whole conversation about journalism being offered under a larger school of a certain part of the education ecosystem.
Yes, we know, because we are part of the accreditation process. You are either university accredited by Q, the Commission for University Education, or you are a college, and our training department, we have the checklist. We check, we look at the profile of the university and all that. So how you know whether it's accredited or not is simple. We are an accrediting agency. We work with government entities. So it's a straightforward matter. It's not a complex matter. Getting an accredited institution, college or university, you either have it on the Q website, yes, or the TVETA website and all that. So it's not rocket science. You are either accredited or you're not. It's like knowing whether you have a press card from MCK or not. You either have it or you don't. It's not. There's no complex science behind it.
And what of those who are going to some of these institutions? By day it's a driving school, at night it's a media school. In order to know that I am actually studying in a legit school, what do I need to look out for?
Yes, what we are finalizing, and we've been working, is now we'll get the TVETA website already has them, but MCK will start publishing. We were waiting for a little approval to start publishing the list of accredited colleges and universities offering journalism. So you just check the website and it's available, or you ask the Media Council, you are informed within 7 days. Yes, because the truth is we have to protect Kenyans from unscrupulous guys.
Yes.
And we have a few colleges that are very strange. Yes, the list, number one, exists. The university list exists on the website, the TVETA list, and the MCK list. We will be publishing it, I think, within the month. We were waiting for certain approvals because we also developed our own checklist on which college we recognize, and then we proceed.
All right.
Yes.
Now, as we gear up to the elections, and we generally know when we're in this space, media becomes such a vital tool looking at this space as we gear up towards the general elections. And we have citizen journalism, we have young graduates who go on their online platform and start doing things their own way, and sometimes they end up reporting fake news. As we gear up to this season and space that we're going in as a country, what will be your message, and even as MCK rather, in terms of preparation and also ensuring that the journalists are not sensationalizing people but actually reporting facts to avoid fake news at the end of the day?
Two things. I'm very careful about what space we operate.
Yes.
We take care of media and journalists. The other telecommunication gadget users who want to go and rant on Facebook and Twitter, they will be managed from a different set. Otherwise, we will lose ourselves. So we are, this week on Thursday, inaugurating the special task force to review election reporting guidelines. This Thursday, then they will have work cut out within 30 days so that we know how the media, licensed media, can operate. Because, if you want to go to the streets, anybody can give you gossip, but media must speak the truth. So election reporting guidelines, guidelines on advertising elections and making sure you are balanced and all that. We will also be issuing guidelines about the media workers who intend to vie for election and who we think are abusing the spaces they occupy and all that. We'll be issuing the guidelines, because now it's our work is to set media standards. So within the media space, that space is protected. We will issue guidelines and we will ensure their compliance. About wale watu wengine, now that we leave to NCIC and Interior, because it's computer misuse and cyber crimes and all that. But within the MCK Act and the Code of Ethics and regulations of advertising in media, election reporting and all that, that space we will we are in charge. And from Thursday we inaugurate the task force. The election guidelines will be out, and the general guidelines about what the media can and cannot do during the campaigns and elections. We will be able to do that.
All right. And also just looking at what you can do as the MCK in terms of even protecting journalists during this space. We have, from past events, we have seen a lot of harassment and violence against journalists during this space, and even other times as a country. As MCK, what are some of those protective measures that you can urge journalists to take on to be the first line of defense, and also as the agency that accredits us and allows us to practice, what can you do in terms of stepping in to assist in the situation?
A lot. I would not say your safety begins with you, but it's a lot. We already do that. We have branding merchandise so that journalists are clearly visible, because in a few cases
can be identified from far.
Yes, like in the cases where we had Captain Bonakuru, people said they did not know the journalists. It was just a crowd versus a crowd. So number one, we have the reflective jackets. We want them to be to every media house. Nowadays our tags are very clearly visible. Number two, we work with the police. We follow up. You may be aware that we follow every case of assault against a journalist. We follow. We have no complaint against on attacks against journalists that we ignore. We follow each of them. Number three, we are working around. Last week we were in Eldoret opening a media hub. We are hoping to open up to 5 of them before elections, because journalists working out of Nairobi sometimes have no space to work from. Because with Corona, media houses close their regional offices. Want to create hubs across the country. It's a safe space for journalists. You go out, get your story, go in, you have your 20 computers, broadband, internet, and you work from that. So very basically, and of course ensuring training and monitoring. We are meeting the media owners later this week or very early next week to agree, because it is, we will do apart from this end, the media house must provide the space and all that. So we have the dressing, clear visibility, partnership with security forces. We actually have a focal point on media and safety of journalists at the National Police Service. We follow up on all cases. Even when cases are stuck in court, we follow up with DPP and all that, so that we do that. And now, as I said, they're creating the hubs, so that journalists can work from safe spaces, so that they're not filing stories from cyber cafes or restaurants and all that.
Yes. Now, as we bring this conversation to a close, there's Gibson on Twitter who's saying, this is such a great conversation, and especially on the idea of facilitating attachees. The whole challenge, however, is in the modalities of picking the few who will benefit from the sponsorship. In terms of just reassuring our viewers that the 20 that you pick to choose to sponsor, rather, how will this be done to ensure there's fairness and equality for all?
Simple. People want to apply for internship in different media houses, which we already agree with. So you apply from a recognized college or university to KBC, for example. KBC has a model for picking. Of course, we know you out of 200 applicants, you can take 20. So when KBC is sitting to interview or choose, there will be an MCK Academy representative. You agree, and we say we will take the top 5 or the top 10 onto our program. The truth is that the need is much higher than we can respond to, but it will be simple, transparent. You want to go to Radio Amani in Kitale, and they want to take 5 people. We have an agreement with them. We will take 5 people. So we see that you applied, meeting the requirements of the college and the institution, and we put you on our program. It is, as I said, it's a simple. There are not too many layers of bureaucracy and all that. You are from a college, you have a letter for attachment, we recognize the college, and the media house, we're already working with it, then so we trust. So it's a simple matter. We will not have one big hub for recruiting people. No, there is the power of the media house, the selection process, because the media house says we can take 5, because then we can supervise them, we can train them, and we can oversee them.
To ensure quality of what is going to be.
Then it's within an agreement we already have, that you take 5, load them on us, so immediately we put them on our program. There will be this assessment form that we'll do monthly and all that. Wakimaliza wanatoka, wengine wanakuja and all that goes on and on.
All right.
Yeah.
So when will all this be available to the attachees who are hoping to be part of this?
This week, latest next week, because we want to take first cohorts from September. I mean, so we are ready to move. We've gotten all the approvals, so there's no other layers. As I said, no layers of bureaucracy around. The information will be out later this week, perhaps by tomorrow. We'll announce how people can apply, and then from next week, people will start working, and then they will know it's the media houses say we are taking this under this program, and life goes on.
Fantastic. Yes. Now, as we close this conversation, maybe just your message to the institutions, all the people in the value chain. We have the institutions, we have the media houses and production houses, as well as those that are in the emerging trends space, in terms of coming together and working for the same goal.
Number one, the institutions, let us be fair so that we offer quality to young Kenyans who want to aspire and all that. Let's not just cobble up courses that are not adding quality to the people's lives. The institutions, the media houses, I know that there has been a challenge because of fear of corona and a few matters, that the training programs almost ended. Please restart them again, because the moment the media houses are not taking people, we are not allowing young people to graduate. Please start it, and the Media Council will partner and support any willing media house and institution to restart the training department, supervision, in-house academies and all that. And the individual journalists, you know that the conduct of one journalist is reflective on the entire industry and profession. Make sure that you protect the integrity of the profession. So if you have one journalist misbehaving, then people develop an attitude that these are tabia as a journalist and all that. So everybody has a role to play.
Yes.
But and the Media Council will do our work from facilitating the training institutions, facilitating media houses to do their job, and the individual journalists to proceed. We hope that as the attachment proceeds, then we have an internship. We'll be allowing young people to go in, interact, and create space, and either remain in the media house or go out and get into private practice within the media, having understood the psychology and the workings of the media house.
Fantastic. We have been speaking with David Omwoyo. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Media Council of Kenya. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today.
Karibu.
All right. That brings us to the end of Good Morning Kenya. We appreciate that you have been with us through and through. We welcome you to join us again tomorrow morning right here on KBC Channel 1 for another fantastic edition of Good Morning Kenya. My name is Jain Wambui. Do have a lovely day and enjoy the rest of your viewing.